Does the president think it's a big deal that today the Dow Jones is down at one point more than 1,100 points?
Well, to start with, we focus on the trends in the economy, not any one day and any single indicator. Unlike his predecessor, the president does not look at the stock market as a means by which to judge the economy.
Thank you. On schools in Virginia, 7 districts representing 350,000 students are suing the state. They're hoping to get a strict mask mandate for students that has been rolled back by the new governor reinstated. So who does the president think knows best for students? School board members or parents?
Well, the president believes that public health officials have the best guidance on what we can all do to protect ourselves, including teachers, administrators, and students.
Ukraine. And I know you said that there is no precedent, outside of Afghanistan for evacuations in case if there was like some type of military incursion by the Russians. So I just want to be clear, if Americans are still in Ukraine and things start happening with Russia, are they pretty much on their own?
Well, we are conveying very clearly now that now is the time to leave and that there are means to do that. Of course, there's commercial airlines. You can depart over land. There's obviously the embassy there to provide assistance. And this is very similar to what we did in Ethiopia, Kazakhstan, and many other countries over the course of the last several decades. But there is not an intention or a plan for any military evacuation.
We do not have an account that we consider to be accurate of the number of Americans, private Americans, who are resident in Ukraine.
Clamoring in this town and over in Ukraine for a U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Where do things stand on appointing somebody?
Certainly understand that. I don't have any update on the status at this point in time.
No country should be able to use energy as a weapon. No country should be able to use energy to coerce policies from other nations or actions. And speaking for ourselves, speaking for the United States, Nord Stream 2 pipeline, we think, is a fundamentally bad deal for Europe. My colleagues joke with me when I say I never tell another man or woman what's in their interest, but I can tell you from our perspective, it looks like a fairly bad deal. And I know you are going to examine it, as the rest of your colleagues in Europe as well. Europe needs diverse sources of gas, not, in our view, new Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And to lock in greater reliance on Russia at this moment, I think risks this. I know it will fundamentally destabilize Ukraine.
Ukrainian Foreign Ministry said the decision to draw down the U.S. presence in Kyiv at the embassy was, quote, premature and a manifestation of excess caution. Is this potentially the afterglow of what happened in Afghanistan, concern for that, or is something else more specific prompting people to leave?
I would say this is more akin to the steps we took in Ethiopia and Kazakhstan than any other country or conflict.
Per the Supreme Court, should race be a factor in college admissions?
Well, this is, I think, in relation, I would expect, to the announcement by the Supreme Court about the decision to take up the affirmative action case this morning. The administration has provided historic investments and support for historically black colleges and universities, tribal colleges and universities, and minority-serving institutions, such as Hispanic-serving institutions, including nearly $21 billion in cumulative support.
And then just more broadly, for years, NATO members have fallen short of their defense spending commitments. Last year, more than 60% of the alliance's 30 members, including half of the Bucharest 9 that are right near Russia there, failed to meet that their 2% GDP spending commitment. If Europeans aren't willing to expend blood and treasure on their self-defense, why should Americans be expected to do so?
Well, we are continuing to advocate for all members to reach the 2% goal. That has been the president's position since he was the vice president, so for many years now. I would say that we have a sacred obligation under NATO.
Afghanistan, and one of the things that you hear among Russian propaganda in Ukraine is that the United States is an unreliable ally, that it's using Ukraine as a pawn. And they point to the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan as evidence that the United States cannot be counted on. How does the United States respond to that, and has the Afghanistan withdrawal complicated diplomacy in this regard?
It is not in our experience. The president ended a 20-year war in Afghanistan. So what I would say to that is that sounds like the old Russian propaganda playbook, something we've talked about in the past. And I have not spoken with our national security team about that. You know our view on the sovereignty of Ukraine, and I don't have any other comment on it though. This objective is to move forward on an effort in Congress and the Senate to